Back with budget improvement discussions for the water department. We've got Scott Potter with us. He has somebody with him who I'll let him introduce here in a second. Want to give a quick shout out to some of the council members who are also with us today. We have Councilman Cooper, Councilman Swope, Councilman Hager, Councilman Elrod, Councilman Henderson, and Councilman Vercher. Thank you all for making time to be with us today. I appreciate it. Scott, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can take us away first on the water department and operations, and then we're going to spend some time talking about stormwater. So why don't we start with the water department operations first?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to introduce to my right Shanna Whitelaw, the interim chief financial officer for water and sewer. And behind me, we have John Honeysucker, and that's the John Honeysucker, and Jim Snyder. So we're going to talk about water operations first and talk about current year a little bit. We're budgeting to be pretty close on budget. It's going to be a tight year, but we're going to make it on the expense side. On revenue side, we got good news. We're showing about a 2.4% projected increase in revenue, and that's
Great.
Holding with historic. In the last 3 to 4 years, we've about a 2.5% increase per year in revenue, and I think that's directly attributable to our growth. We've seen significant building. It's no surprise to anyone. And I think it's directly translating into increased sales. So I think that revenue growth is going to be sustained. We're only going to budget for a 0.5% increase in revenue, just to give us a little bit of a conservative approach to it. But I still think with a 1.5% increase, we're going to have a $214 million revenue budget going into fiscal 18. Our revenue is really dependent on weather. If you recall, back in October, we had a pretty significant drought, and I think that drove up revenue a little bit. But over the course of the 12 months, I think that evens out a little bit. But if we have a drought in the summer, we will see additional revenue. Going into this fiscal year, we're not requesting any FTEs. I think we have adequate staffing availability. We're still filling some positions. We historically have been catching up. We're having pretty significant turnover from a retirement perspective.
How many positions do you have open right now, Scott, or projected to have open? Do you know?
I'd say about 50 right now. We've got 724 approved on the water side, water and sewer. And I think that 50 includes stormwater as well, but I can get that exact number to you. But I think 50 is a pretty good number for the whole department.
So if I'm watching at home and I'm interested in a job at Metro Water, I could go online and there are positions available, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Nashville.gov/water, and all the positions are posted.
Thank you.
We're always looking for good folks. Transitioning to our request for expense budget next year, we are requesting a 7% increase in our expense budget. That reflects, for 3 years, we haven't had an increase in our expense budget. I think that's a little bit my fault. I should have flattened that out a little bit, but I didn't, and I think that resulted in a 7% increase in this year. We have seen some increases that are operational in nature. As an example, patch paving, main break activity requires us to do repairs to the roadway. That's over budget. The water and sewer line locates that we're having to do because of all the construction has resulted in about a $500,000 increase compared to historic values. And we're seeing carbon costs go up by about $1 million when compared to last year.
Right.
And we use carbon as a finishing chemical essentially on the water for taste and odor. And if we didn't use carbon, it would be very, very obvious that we weren't. So that's something that we have to maintain. The cost of carbon has gone up as well, from 0.67 cents per pound to 0.76 cents per pound, and that has resulted in a little bit of an increase as well. But between those those four values, that's resulting in about a 7% increase over the course of next year. On the capital side, the overall capital request is $260 million, of which $155 million is for Clean Water Nashville. And the mayor will hopefully recall that we're doing a lot of work since 1999
Yep.
to reduce, with a goal of eliminating overflows from our collection system.
Yep.
I've got really good news.
That's such a nice way to put it.
Well,
Overflows from our collection system.
The sewer is not glamorous, but it's
There's a lot of ways to put that.
there.
I think I like that the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, EPA uses a metric that's annual million gallons of overflow per 100 miles of sewer pipe. So when we started our program, the most recent program, that was about 8. That ratio is 8. That's been reduced to 1.97 in the previous 12 months. And for February's numbers, for the first time since we've been doing this, we're going to go below 1. And that's really, really significant. EPA gets nervous around 5, and that's really what triggered our consent decree in this round. And for us to be below 1 is really significant. It shows
that's across the board.
that's the entire collection system.
Yeah.
So, 1 gallon of overflow is too much, but
Right.
we've made tremendous use of the resources provided to us. I think it's demonstrable. Do want to mention, you may recall when you were on council, we had that 36-inch main break that occurred behind Home Depot.
Yep, sure do.
That's a good example of water main infrastructure renewal that we've been doing. That was a $13 million project that we recently completed. And of note, that project, we bored 2 tunnels underneath I-65, and nobody noticed.
Saw the pictures.
So that's the kind of stuff we do on infrastructure renewal. That's the scope that sometimes we face, is to go underneath highways. It's a successful project, and it provided redundancy to the south of the city that wasn't there, obviously, when we had that first break, that is going to eliminate that risk for losing so many people's water supply if that 36 breaks again. One of the things I'd like to mention to the mayor is, in capital other than Clean Water Nashville, a good example of how we are redirecting resources is our meter reading program. We, in 2002, we began the transition of manual read meters to automatic read meters, and we're doing it again, such that we're going from having people drive around in trucks to having a cell-based meter reading system where no one has to drive around at all.
Really?
So that's, the transition there has been, in 2002, we had 32 meter readers. And that was 32 people getting in 32 trucks, driving in 32 different directions every day. Now we have 5 meter readers. The good news about that is all the people who are meter reading are now doing direct customer service in the field. So using capital money to reduce operating expenses is one of our fundamental strategies, and I think that's a really good example of doing so. I want to mention 8th Avenue Reservoir. It's historic. We're going to put 2 tanks inside each side of that reservoir and leave it in service. We're going to reduce the amount of water in the reservoir on purpose so we can improve water quality. But also, we've worked really closely with the Historic Commission to maintain the historic accuracy of the reservoir, and that will improve water quality and significantly reduce one of our fundamental risks, which is a failure of that reservoir. Another good example of capital investment used to reduce operating expenses is what we call fine bubble aeration at Whites Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant. What that means is how it sounds. We make bubbles to provide oxygen to the bacteria that treat the wastewater. We make really small bubbles instead of great big bubbles, and it's more efficient. So we have to have a lot of capital investment to do that, but over the course of 20 years, we're going to save a lot of O&M expense. That'll reduce one of our 3 top components for costs, electricity. We have electricity, labor, chemicals, and repair. So the chemical costs are going to go, electrical costs will go down dramatically as a result of the fine bubble aeration. And it also highlights the second thing we did at Whites Creek recently, and we're going to do at Dry Creek in the north part of the county, is to install ultraviolet light disinfection. So at Whites Creek presently, there's no chemicals present in the treatment process, only air and ultraviolet light. That obviously is really good for the workforce. I think it's very good for the environment, and I think it demonstrates the green approach that we try to take at every opportunity. At the biosolids facility, we're doing a $19 million optimization using capital funds. And the metric for that is how much it costs us to dispose of sludge. And if you look at the comparison, in 2005, we spent $3 million a year, and that was hauling sludge out of the county and sometimes out of the state and dumping it. And now we're only spending about $625,000, and we're not hauling sludge anymore. That's inert material, and that's a spectacular improvement on the infrastructure side, plus on the O&M side, plus on the, I think, the neighborhood safety side. We're not moving sludge through someone's neighborhood. Clean Water Nashville, give some numbers. We've had 39 design contracts, 28 construction contracts, and we've rehabilitated 100 miles of sewer. 10 rehab projects have been completed, and we have 7 projects under construction. So with that $240 million capital investment, we're doing a lot of improvement, not only to the water system, the collection system on the wastewater side, the plants, the pump stations, all 6,000 miles of water and sewer main in our 5 plants. A lot of capital investment, but it provides for our planning window of 100 years to be met without putting the citizens of Nashville at risk. So that kind of concludes my discussion on the water and sewer side.
Scott, before you leave the water side, you might just make sure everyone knows that may be watching sort of how you're funded and how you operate. I think there's always some confusion as to where your money comes from, and you get general tax dollars, or how you do it, and then how you allocate it between debt service and operation. I think if you could just spend a minute on that, I think it might be helpful for people to understand.
Yes, sir. We're an enterprise fund in that all of our operations and capital investment are driven directly from revenues that are paid for by our customers. We do not get any tax dollars that subsidize our operations. When we collect the revenue, it's really straightforward. Our bond covenants require that we pay our debt service first. And then after our debt service is paid, we pay for O&M expense. And when O&M expense is paid, then we put the remaining money, which could be viewed as profit, we view it as capital investment. All the remaining money after we pay for debt service and after we pay for operating expenses goes into what we call the E&R fund, which is the engineering fund, which provides for cash investment on the capital side. So
Which keeps you from having to issue more debt.
that's correct. We have an adequate and responsible amount of debt, and it's adequately, I think, proportioned over the next 30 years. It doesn't introduce a lot of operation stress to us. A good example this year, we've already paid debt service within 7 months. So for the remaining 5 months of this year, all of our delta between expense and revenue will go to the E&R fund, which will provide capital, cash for capital. It's not smart to fund a 50-year or 100-year project with cash, but in some cases, if you have capital investment that has a 1 to 5 year window, cash investment makes sense. And that's what we do. We work really closely with finance and get spectacular support. I feel really good about our debt position. I feel good about our debt covenant ratios. So I don't see on the water and sewer side a discussion about rates for at least a couple of years.
That's good news.
That's good.
I could change that if y'all
No,
want.
no, it's all good.
No, you were good.
Let's leave it at that.
You were moving on.
Okay, fine.
Talk about stormwater.
Roll back a little bit.
All right.
Stormwater. Let's talk
But
about,
on the other hand,
On the other hand,
let's talk about stormwater, because I think that's important.
my associate here will talk about, no, I'm sorry. Stormwater, we are requesting a rate adjustment.
Yep.
And I think we have support in the council for this proposal in that there's a significant demand for capital improvements on the stormwater side throughout the county. It's interesting in that if you go back in time, 100 years, 50 years, 25 years, there wasn't specific stormwater management practices in place, neither from a construction perspective nor from a regulatory perspective. In the 80s, the construction regulatory aspect came into play, and with the Clean Water Act in the late 60s, the regulatory act came into play. But without the requirement for construction in the initial build-out of the city, in a lot of cases, the stormwater infrastructure just wasn't there.
Great.
And then when we did have the stormwater infrastructure constructed, it's reached the end of its useful life. Yeah. So all of the stormwater infrastructure in Nashville essentially needs to be replaced over a course of time. If the council approves our requested revenue adjustment, we'll be able to double our capital investment from $10 million a year to $20 million a year. Those are the construction or the complete rehabilitation of existing stormwater structures. We'll be able to increase what we call the C projects, which are they're generally small capital projects, but we can go from $1 million a year up until $3 million a year in year 3. And then we'll be able to increase our street sweeping budget and also increase our amount of crews that operate out of County Hospital Road to increase our work throughput at County Hospital Road by about 50%. So we think we have a really good plan. We think the revenue request makes sense. We think it's fair and equitable. We think it reflects the contribution to the stormwater. I hate to call it a problem because it's not a problem. It's just part of operating.
Sure.
And it also does one other thing, which is really important. It keeps us in regulatory compliance.
It's important.
If we're not compliant with our permit, and just to remind the mayor, when it rains, we have permission from our federal government to discharge the rain into the waters of the state.
Right.
And that sounds silly, but that's just fact. And if we go out of compliance with our permit, 2 things happen. Number 1, we get fined, and number 2, we get ordered to get back into compliance. So I like to skip both steps. You know, if we get fined, all we're doing is throwing money into the giant black hole, and then we're not be able to use that money for capital
Right,
construction.
no, absolutely.
So regulatory compliance is important. It's also good for the watershed. So it is more money, and I'm not going to dispute that. And,
But you need it in
yes,
order
ma'am.
to do this. Yeah, exactly.
So that kind of concludes our discussion about water and sewer and stormwater. I'd love to answer any questions that the mayor may have.
Tell you, I'm good. Rich?
No, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so again, to kind of back up to what we talked about on how your budget operates. So then, if your revenues are greater than you projected, and your expenditures are what you budgeted or less, then that's extra money.
Yes.
Goes into your reserves and is used to fund system improvements. Doesn't flow back to the general fund.
It does not.
Everything stays within your department.
Our profit motive, for want of a better phrase, is additional capital investment. We have a planning horizon that goes from 24 hours to 100 years. So every capital dollar we put into the system reduces O&M expenses. We really can't quantify that, but it's an accurate statement.
Right.
So as much as we can reduce our expense through reducing electrical costs, reducing chemical costs, things like that, that puts more money on the capital side. And I think proper capital investment, which I think we do, is a direct aid to the city. If you look at Clean Water Nashville, we're not having as many overflows. I mean, there's a statement was made by a regulator 25 years ago that if your windshield wipers were on in Nashville, you had overflows happening. That's not a good thing. You know, now that doesn't happen. It's
No,
we keep the sewage on the right side of the pipe, generally speaking. And like I said, it's not glamorous, but
So Scott, two things. I had the pleasure of being out at one of your facilities recently where you are getting ready to pilot 2 different kinds of technology to determine for the future what will help us have the cleanest water. Want to just take a minute, and I think it's important to know that for the viewers at home that you spend a lot of time thinking about how technology is evolving and how we can continue to be on the cutting edge of making sure that our water is drinkable, that we are not Flint, Michigan, that all these concerns that people have out there, that you all and your team are staying on that. So just spend a second on that.
yes, ma'am. One of my fundamental parts of my job is risk management. And the last thing, among many last things, but really the last thing I want to tell you is that we have a water supply issue. And if we were to say that, it would be completely and absolutely irresponsible on our part. So what we've done is about 10 years ago, we did a study on water demand and the best place to do water plant relocation or water plant expansion. It just so happened that the location that was prescribed by that study was at Omaha Water Treatment Plant, which happened to coincide, luckily, with the sale of a lot of land on Lebanon Road directly adjacent to Omaha plant. So through the council, we were able to buy that land and able to put a footprint on that plant, on that site for the expansion that would be required, we think, within 15 to 20 years. So we've got the footprint of the plant available. We're putting presently the power required to operate the plant on that site. And like the mayor mentioned, we're doing a study, we call it a pilot study, that will identify the best way to treat the water into the next generation. We think it's going to be a combination of an oxidation followed by a barrier technology, which is essentially a membrane. You pump water through a very, very small filter in the micron level. It eliminates a lot of impurities, and then the ozonization will eliminate organics in the water. The good news is that this 14-month study will give us an entire 4-season look at the river and how it will behave. The mayor mentioned Flint in that they made a transition of water source without really doing the study. So what we're doing is a 14-month study on the source water to make sure that what we think will work will work. So we'll have a 10-year head start on having the technology identified that will work. Then we can go into the planning, then we can go into construction, and what we won't be doing is playing catch-up or doing with our hair on fire, which is what we do not want to be doing.
Right.
So I think we're in good shape. We've got the land, we've got the power coming, we've got a great relationship with NES, and we've got the technology identified, I think, going into the future. So at Alejandro, we'll have probably 150 million of capacity available. At KR, we'll have 90 million of capacity available. And with the 60-inch project we're doing down Lebanon Road, which apologies to everyone on Lebanon Road, we'll have a really good supply to the east side of the county. And I feel really good about where we'll be, especially within the next 25 years.
Good.
The president may not be happy tomorrow when he tries to get his security detail down.
That's a good point.
Trying to get down Lebanon Road.
That's a very good point.
And last and certainly not least, on the stormwater, when we talk about the adjustment of fees, I think it's important to also just talk a minute about the fact that we've tried to be mindful of freezing fees for folks who we perceive to be at a lower income level, smaller houses and smaller businesses. Can you just talk about that for a moment, being mindful of that?
Yes, ma'am. With the stormwater fee, we made a direct correlation, well, not a direct correlation, a correlation between how much impervious surface you have to how much you pay. So it's, there is a correlation. It's not direct, but there is a correlation. When you look at the smaller homes in our county, their rate is going to remain at $1.50 per month. A home such as mine, about a 3,000 square foot house on a quarter-acre lot, that will go from $3 to $6, and then homes larger than that will go from $4.50 to $11. So on the residential side, there's a correlation between impervious surface and contribution to revenue, with the statement of holding the presumably smaller income households at $1.50 per month. On the commercial side, we employed a similar approach in that we drove more of the, I guess, the load of the revenue out towards higher impervious surface commercial businesses.
Create more of the problem.
Exactly. They have more of an impervious surface, a little bit more of a contribution. It's a difficult curve to come up with, but I feel really good about the fairness of it, the equitability of it, and the correlation between contribution and revenue is there.
And once again, just like on your water system, all the money that is collected with the stormwater fee is legally required to stay and be used on stormwater purposes.
That's correct.
So again, it can't be transferred for another purpose and all that, just
so people know.
so people know that, yeah.
Todd,
Okay.
anything else?
I am well versed.
Well, we appreciate your time and all that you do to make sure that we can drink our water. We appreciate that, too.
I get to work with a lot of really cool people.
You have a great team. It's always a delight
We do.
to come and spend time with you and your team. So
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you,
Thank
Scott.
you, Rich.
Appreciate
Bye.
it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Would you,